Hey y'all, it's your girl Free Monique. So I'm here to drop a video about turning 40 because today I've turned 40 and there are a lot of things that I have learned along my journey that I want to share with you. These are just some tips and thoughts that I have now that I've come to this place in my life. And so I thought I would share that today. So first things first, education and experience are both equally valuable, but both needed. Don't believe the hype. There are a lot of get rich quick schemes out here. There are a lot of quick boot camps, quick certificates, and a lot of these things promise that you're going to get this high paying career by taking these quick little boot camps. And there's a ton of videos out there promoting this. I'm thinking about tech in particular. While this may be true for a lot of people that they get into tech, with this high, $130,000 job, you have to question the longevity of that because you can only finesse but for so long. If you don't have, education to back up what besides your life experience, that's great. You've done customer service and all this, but if you can't talk the talk, if you can't socialize and fit in to the environment, based off of your knowledge, in addition to just your vibe, you're going to drown. Like that's, to me, I just don't see the longevity in that. I think, tech is a promising field for a lot of people, but I think it's, one of those careers that you really should still consider educating yourself in because it can only go but for so long. And I'm just using tech as an example. You might be a techie and, you might be a software engineer and you taught yourself on, how to do code, and that's great. I'm happy for you if you had one of these high wage jobs and you had to do nothing to basically get it. But I'm a huge fan, and what I have learned in my own experience is that experience and education coupled together make you a stronger, more valuable asset to the job market. And that's what people really, really want. And people who have this, tend to be able to move up a lot quicker in their field. That's what I see. And that's what I know to be true in my own personal case. Also, you got to think about where you live. There are some areas in the United States where they are a little bit more lax about those kinds of things, and then some who just really take it seriously. They're not even looking at you unless you have a degree. They're not the Having a bachelor's degree today in 2024 is the equivalent of having a high school diploma back in the 80s, right? Like a lot of times people are not even looking at your experience at all. They will not count it. They will not look at it. They're just like, do they have a degree? No. Okay, moving on. Especially if you're working for nonprofits and if you're in the mental health space or, working for, an organization that deals with recovery or anything that's really sensitive, any profession that has to do with anything clinical, it's a wrap. Bachelor's is where they start in a lot of cases. There's rare instances that you just, magically move up and, you've been there for a long time. But even with that, there's a ceiling, right? Because that's what happened to me. I was doing great where working for a mental health organization. I loved that job. But it definitely got to a point where I hit the ceiling. They said, listen, we would love to promote you again, but we can't because you don't have your degree. So that's necessary. I don't care what anybody says. It's really a must out here. If you want to survive out here, it's survival of the fittest, real talk. So I strongly encourage getting a degree. If not a degree, really truly get some high quality education to get a certificate in your field of choice, if it's going to be a trade. Okay, so that's my number one. Number two, understand that compatibility, it is always at play, right? You may not be liked by everybody. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Sometimes you just have to remove yourself from situations like that where you notice that you're not liked or not understood, or people are just everything that you're doing or they're doing is just not jiving together, understand that there can be a point where you say, you know what? It's not me or you. It's just we're not compatible. And then boop, walk away. That's it. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be this blow up. It doesn't have to be chaos. It doesn't have to be, oh, she did that. Oh, he said, no. You can just literally pause, think for a minute, and say, oh, all of this drama is happening because you know what? I'm not compatible in this situation. I just don't vibe with it. It don't vibe with me. I don't vibe with it. And boop, walk away. That's it. Your life is too short to be spending time in dirty water. What I mean by that is you're sitting there, you are trying to do things, you're trying to, you're just working so hard, but the water is still mucked up. The water is still dirty. You will never get clean in that situation. You will never feel good, right? So strive to feel good all the time. Okay? There will be times where you can experience some stress here and there. But when that's like 80% of your time, you really got to take a moment and look at that, right? Because again, life is too short. No one should be robbing you of your peace and your joy. My third point is about time. Time is slipping, whether you see it or not or feel it. It is slipping, okay? I never imagined myself being this age. I just kind of always saw myself in my 20s as a 20-something-year-old. So now that I've hit 40, I'm just kind of looking back and looking at my 20-something-year-old self, and I'm like, wow, like I was a completely different person, and I responded to the world so differently, and I thought so differently about things. My understanding now is that time is precious, and I should be doing things to create memories and to keep positivity going, because your mind can really attack you. It could be the thing that hurts you if it's on a negative loop. So mental health is key. It's so important to be in a positive space. If you find yourself in a negative environment, or an environment that's okay, but you yourself find yourself going through a negative loop, you've got to do something about that. Either it's you remove yourself from the environment or you change the environment. One of the two. So, preserving your time, don't spend your time with individuals that bring you down. Don't waste and spend your time in situations that do not serve you. So I think that is crucial. Another point that I want to bring up is that you are in charge. You are fully 100% in charge. And I don't know how much 20-something-year-olds and 30-something-year-olds really know that. A lot of time we just kind of get blown around by the wind, and, we just kind of go with the flow with certain things because we think maybe it'll get us to our next destination or we'll feel okay. But the reality is you are fully in control. And if you don't grab that steering wheel and have purpose and make yourself drive somewhere, like have a destination to go to, you will get torn up by this world. You will get, someone will drive right over you. You've got to take control of your life. So definitely now that I've hit this age, I see how, serious that is. I don't think I took that as seriously before. I've always been a leader. I'm a survivor of a lot of stuff. And, I think in a lot of ways I've kind of naturally done that, taking control of my life. But in some ways I recognize how I could have got swallowed up because, as you know, I was part of, high control group, and that swallowed up a big part of my life. It set me back, right? It took me 9 years to finish my associate's degree, 2 years to finish my bachelor's, and now I'm working on my master's. So, taking control is important. You need to recognize that you are the one who really is in control of your life. No one else, carries your destiny. You do. So I think that's key. Another thing is really valuing your physical health, and monitoring that. Certain, demographics struggle with certain diseases a lot more than others. And I'll be specific. So, like, especially in the Black community, high blood pressure is something that I don't think we should be taking for granted. Um, I experienced something over these past couple of years that was life altering. Someone extremely close to me experienced a stroke, and they're young. There's no reason why. They're completely fit and eat, relatively well. Definitely didn't eat a lot of garbage, but did eat some high sodium stuff. And before you know it, he had a stroke. So, not to dig too much into that because it makes me emotional every time I think about it. It's one of those things that we really should not be taking for granted, right? So really, really, really figuring out how you can, manage your health by eating correctly for your blood type and your body. I'll dig into that in other videos, but I found that to be like a huge piece. Some people say it, that whole theory has been debunked, but I think I want to revive it because there is something to it. It definitely helped me by looking into it. So, not taking your health for granted, drinking your water, eating a lot of healthy food, and just, getting some sort of movement in on a daily basis. That's what I have for now. I may continue this video as I come up with other ideas that I think I should share, but that's what I've learned turning 40. So, yeah. All right. Feel free to hop in the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for popping by. All right. Peace.